And welcome back, welcome back. A few weeks ago we had Representative Devon talking about rescuing horses, and Cynthia Johnson and Lynn Wilburn are here to talk about Three Feathers Horse Rescue. Now, who wants to tell us what that organization is all about?
It's about taking the unwanted horses, and people starve their horses just because they can't feed them anymore, and we take them in, rehabilitate them, and find them new homes. That's the basics of the whole thing.
Now, are both of you horse lovers?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have your own horses?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find it's an economical issue more than just malice? More than
Yeah, it's more economical. There are some out there that it is malice. There are some. We have one down the road from us right now. And they had horses before and starved them, and now they've got some again, and they're starving them. And we've got to do something about this.
If they can't afford them, why do they have the horses? Is that the big question, right?
That is the big question.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you mentioned it wasn't an easy process when you find something like that you can't just go in and take that horse, that you have to go through some red tape to...
There is a process. You must go to the sheriff's department, sign out a complaint. The more people you can get there to sign out a complaint against a certain party, the better it is. And then they decide whether it should go to the prosecuting attorney. Then it goes from there to the judge. And there's
And then who calls you?
Everybody
okay.
and anybody.
Okay.
I mean, I get some horses that are surrendered, that people just want to turn them over. Some I've bought even to get them out of their situation. And others we've just gotten them. They just come from all over. I got a call last night from a lady wanting to get rid of hers because she's getting divorced and can no longer take care of it.
When you were talking about how much that costs to maintain these horses with all the...
It's about $25 to $35 a week. And that's that's just a food bill. That's not counting furrier or veterinarian or like we feed joint supplements to some of the older horses we have. Some of them have nutritional problems where they can't eat a certain type of feed, so you have to buy something specialized. We get a lot of older horses because people don't want to face what's going to happen, that sooner or later the horse is going to have to be put to sleep just because of old age, and they don't want to do that.
So how many horses do you currently house right now?
Right now we count 14 and a half. The half is a baby. I bought him.
What the half?
I bought a mare out of the auction that I felt sorry for.
Yeah.
And this March she dropped a foal.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you talk about $25 a week times 14. I mean, where do you get your funds? Is that the reason for this organization?
Yes, we try for donations.
Okay.
We definitely donations. We foster a lot of horses out where people can take the horse and keep it and take care of it properly. They have to sign papers, of course. And then if that horse somebody wants to adopt it out, it is adoptable from these people unless they want to take over the adoption.
Well, can you give us a brief outline of what it takes to take care of a horse? I mean, you got to have land, of course, and water, and...
Well, you don't need that much land.
Okay.
You've got to have water, got to have shelter, you've got to feed them properly, you've got to have the vet out 4 to 6 to 8 weeks at the max, the farrier, I mean, and the vet has to come out and do what's called a Coggins test. That's a very infectious disease that goes through horses. And by having this test, you find that they don't have it. And then you can put them in a herd situation. And then they have to have their shots in the spring, and it's expensive.
Is that a yearly? Are shots a yearly?
Yes, shots and Coggins are both yearly.
And this is for healthy horses, too?
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
yes.
every horse has.
Okay. All horses are required in the state to have a negative Coggins test.
All right.
Not the shots. They don't have to have the shots. But they do have to have the Coggins test. That is law.
Evidently, that's a bad thing.
It is a very bad thing. It cost us about $1,000 last year just to have the vet come out, do the test on everybody, and to vaccinate everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we're coming up next month facing that bill again this year.
So how can people help financially?
They can send us donations. They can become a sponsor. A sponsor would be a monthly check towards it. Donations of any kind, anything, hay, fencing, feed, saddles, bridles, anything that we can turn into money.
Well, you mentioned too you had fencing that needed to be done, so you can.
We have 40 acres right now that we cannot use because of fence damage. Between the ice storm,
Right.
what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And then we had loggers up on the property, and they dropped logs on the fence and then left.
And left it.
So we need desperately somebody with chainsaws, and they can have all
There's
the wood.
a lot of wood
Yeah.
up there.
They're
they can
welcome
have.
to the wood if they can just clear the fences to where we can fix them.
Where are you located?
We're north of Payette. Actually, I'm 4 miles north of the highway, 3 miles north of the town.
Okay.
And they can give us a call anytime, and we can give them good directions or meet them up the highway and bring them in.
Well, let's get that number up on the screen, and we'll have people to write that number down. And then you have some photos
some
that you
pictures
brought,
of it.
right?
Yes, I have all sorts of photos here.
Do we have
Do we have
photos
any
that we
on-
can
Yes,
just
you
bring
have.
those
Okay,
up?
I sent them to
Bring
her.
those up, and we'll start talking about
Yeah,
some of the
talk about-
photos here.
This is a horse that people wanted us to haul her to auction. Look at her. She's a bag of bones. We put her on the trailer and said she's not going to an auction. She's coming home
What
with
is
us.
it? What is the
Fungus that's
auction?
on her
Look at her.
fur, that's rain rot, and it's actually a fungus that can. A lot of people had problems with it, but literally, all
That
that
horse.
fur was scrubbed off of her. She had
Oh.
no fur on her because of the rain rot.
Wow.
It's a very serious problem.
That's her at the vet.
And when you say taking her to auction, what would they do?
He was
What-
going to take her. He wanted to have her go to the auction and be sold.
Okay.
And we told him that nobody would buy this horse, and that she was going home with us.
We
you
just
know.
took her. I mean, we said no. Had him sign a surrender form.
Okay. Tell us about this.
Yeah, this is Rusty. He came up out of Florida. He's quarter horse. How old is he?
18.
He's 18 years old, about 14 too. He's ready for adoption. He's a real sweetheart to
I
ride.
rode him bareback. He's really
Well, I was
a
going
nice
to say,
horse.
are most of these rideable?
Most of
Okay.
them are rideable.
This is
That's Shayna.
Shayna.
She's a Painaloosa, which is half paint and half
Half
Appaloosa. And she's definitely kid broke. I taught my 7-year-old
16.
granddaughter to ride her.
Okay, this is Kinetic Flicka. She's a registered quarter horse mare, up for adoption, just a 6-year-old. She has had saddle, bridle, everything on her, but she won't move. She's got to be what's called pony, to lead her on another horse. With a rider on her, she's fine. She just needs some work.
And all these horses are really easy to catch out in the pasture. They won't run from
You're
you.
right.
She follows you around like a puppy dog.
That's Velvet.
She's
This-
our Chihuahua.
Yeah, we
She's
call
actually a black percheron.
She's a 19-year-old. She's 16 two hands, and she's a black percheron. And she's also up for adoption, but she would only be good to put little kids on her.
Yeah.
She's never
and
been
just lead
broke to
around.
a plow or harness or anything, so she doesn't. This is a picture
this
of the
is the
one
mare.
that was malnourished. The one in the very first
Right.
photos. This is what she looks like now.
No, she looks a little better than
Well,
that
yeah,
now.
she's
Even that
gained
was a
little
month
more
ago.
weight.
You can
But
see the
she's-
progress.
4
Yeah.
months. In 4 months, we put that kind of weight on her.
We kind of call her a wonder horse because it usually takes longer than that for them to come.
This
Well,
is-
and I'm sure you
this
can't
is
just.
Gandalf.
You have to be very careful about how you get
She's
them back.
fed 8 times a day, small amounts of food.
This is Gandalf. He's been severely foundered. And he was just given to us because they didn't... he wouldn't get up.
Explain founders.
Founder
Foundering.
is where they get what's called a rotated coffin bone in the foot, and it starts pushing down through the sole. And it can happen from road, it can happen from feed, it can happen from grass. There's all different ways to founder a horse.